Well, hello and welcome all you wonderful people out there in YouTube land. And welcome to this July 2023 O-Scale product review. Now, what you see before you is one of my purchases from the Greater Houston train show in Pasadena. Admittedly, that was back in February. Sorry for the delay. Is what it is. Now, this is an MTH Premier 20,000 gallon tank car, lettered and decorated for ETCX number 4004. This is a really cool car. I was able to pick this up at the show for a little under $50. Let's take a good look at it. Okay, so the first thing that we notice with this car is the lettering on the car is all legible. Big shot, O gauge or O scale. Big trains, even the tiny lettering is fairly sizable, so much easier to read and make out. All of the lettering is clearly executed. There's no fading or bleeding over. It's nice crisp separation between the body and the lettering. All the capacity and load information on the side here is correct. You've got, each one of the four compartments are individually, represented as far as their individual capacities and the compartment number. You see these very nicely done catwalks up here along with the individual domes and vent valves, as well as underneath the unloading valves there. 100-ton bearing, roller bearing freight trucks operating magnetic couplers. You can either use a magnetic uncoupling section of track, or you can hit this little tab that's right here on the side and uncouple the cars manually. Very good detailing all throughout the car. You have the little placards here. You can see this has been bent a little bit kind of, but for less than $50 I'm not going to complain if that's the only defect on the car. We'll move this down a little bit more toward the B end of the car. Trying to roll this slowly so y'all can get a good look at this. As you can see, it's not rotating roller bearings like you see on a lot of the newer Lionel stock, but still very well done. There are springs on the trucks, as you can see, but the trucks are not sprung like Lionel trucks. This is, of course, MTH. Over here on this side of the car, you can see the emergency and service reservoir, as well as you can get a side profile there of the handbrake wheel. And you've got these very nicely done hand railings on the end. My only complaint is that the hand railings on the ends of the cars are not painted. I've seen a lot of tank cars, I've rode a lot of tank cars, and I've yet to see one that had nice shiny hand railings on the end. They're either rusted or grungy or painted a similar color to the car, to the rest of the car itself, or black. Alright, so here we are looking at the underside of the car. You can see a little bit better what I was talking about there with the thumbtack magnetic couplers and the uncoupling tab on the side of the coupler. You can see the brake rigging and the unloading valve details very nicely. I'm not really crazy about the fact that all the brake rigging is cast onto the underside of the tank body, but that is a nice trade-off. It's at least there, it's at least represented, but it's also not additional fragile details that you have to worry about when you're trying to handle or manipulate the car, because no matter how well thought out any railroad is, or no matter how in-depth your car storage situation is on the railroad, at some point you're going to have to pick the thing up and move it around from the railroad back to its box for storage or to a shelf or something. So while I'm not super fond of the cast-on detailing, I can at least appreciate the advantage of that's less stuff I got to worry about breaking off of the car. You can see that the platforms there on the end are separately applied details to the car, as well as the see-through grates right here on the end platforms. Alright, coming around and look at the B end of the car, you can see the handbrake a little better. There is no visible hand chain or handbrake chain here. I got this car used. I don't know if there was a handbrake chain there at one time and it got broke off, or if the car never came with one. I don't know that. All I know is there's a handbrake wheel, there is no chain. You have some of the brake detailing, air brake detailing here. You've got the emergency and service reservoir here. I don't know how well you can see it, if you can see it at all, but there is brake pipes, air brake pipes represented back here between the tank body and the end platform, as well as the air brake valve system right here. And of course that hand railing detail that I was talking about right here. How rude of me, I forgot to mention the explosive placard. Alright, taking a look at the A end of the car. Again, you have the explosive placard, you have the hand railing and the end platform detailing, which I guess I'll lift the car up a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about there a little better. There's the platform in all its see-through glory. And finally we have the top of the car. You can see very well those see-through grates on the tops of the car for the catwalk, so that in the real world the people loading and unloading the car at the originating and departing points for the car, can access the different vent valves, loading valves, and etc. for the compartments. This car has 4 separate compartments. Each one has its own vent valve, loading valve, and unloading valve. The ladders, the platforms are all separately applied details. The car itself is a plastic body construction. The only metal on this car is the trucks, the wheels, and the couplers, and some of the hand railing and piping details on the side of the car. Other than that, 100% plastic throughout. This car is a super cool car. I've had it since February and I have been playing with it and running it. So this wasn't I got it yesterday and now I'm throwing it up on YouTube type of thing. So, I mean, I've been running the hell out of it and it's been a great car. It's been a great running car and I haven't had any issues with this thing as far as keeping it on the track, either shoving it with a locomotive or pulling it around the track with a locomotive. So very good running car, very happy with my purchase. For less than 50 bucks, man, you just can't beat it. I mean, especially with the level of detail that this thing has. Now, I've got a unit train made up with those 30,000 gallon Lionel tank cars and a couple of buffer cars and a loaner Lionel SD70M. Yes, I know Lionel cataloged it as an SD70 Mac, but I hate to break it to y'all, Union Pacific Railroad never owned any SD70 Macs. Plenty of SD70Ms, but no Macs. So let's get the train all together and run this thing around the track and have some fun.